Here are the intended wheels for the Rupp. They're both 6-inch 350s. The one has a higher profile than the other. This is the one I'm gonna, I think, use for the front. Bearings inch and just under 1.5 inches. I think that it's standard size. I have to get new bearings because these are totally frozen up. And this is the back wheel. I don't know what kind it is. The closest I've seen, I think it's called Manco, but I'm not sure. This looks like it has a place for sprockets, those extra holes, but I could be wrong. Bearings aren't bad in this. It has that spacer thing in the middle to kind of keep, a little tension between the bearings. But I'm going to have to get some 1/2-inch bearings instead of 5/8. So I'm hoping at least to get the brand name on these so I can go forward, or what kind of sprocket I can get for this that'll work. Found a set of throttle and grip set that I got at a motorcycle swap meet. Ultra cheap, ultra old. But I'm going to go with it. I kind of like the grips. I really had to pound this one and I think it shrunk over time, but it's kind of neat. I'll show you the packaging. There it is. Could it be bought at like Woolworths or something like that? Okay, I'm working on making some foot pegs out of some old snow blower, that same snow blower, tubing handle. I just squashed it down and the vise. I'm trying to make them look a little bit like the ones I've seen on eBay. One side's curved so they can fold up. And I'm about to drill one and hopefully get on center. The pilot hole looks about right. I'm going to try to get the right size. I might have to put a washer on both sides to make it fit tight. It's probably going to be floppy, but let's see. Not like that. A little saggy, a little leaning forward. I can put washers in there to get it tight. I know that, but it's still, I didn't drill right. God, I thought I nailed it. Okay. I got more stock. I guess I can make more. What I should have done is I should have drilled further in this way and then just ground it to fit. That would have been the plan. Okay. This side didn't come out half bad, but what I'm definitely realizing is if you stand up in these pegs, they're just going to fold right down. So no standing on them. At least it's something to put your feet on when I'm trying to bike out. Now, this is the other side. This one's not going to fit quite as good, but I used the reamer. Let's see if I can find the reamer. Just had to get a new battery, so I'm all discombobulated. I reamed it out a little bit, so it got to the point that the threads almost went in, just a little pressure, and it's kind of self-tapping. Hold it a little bit tighter. We'll see how this one lines up. Okay, here's the other side. Not as good. Sags down. And like I said, these aren't keepers anyway, because they're not strong enough. And I can't get a nut on the other side. I need a little bit longer bolt. But the inside here, that should be like a little bit longer. Now here's something I saw on Road King's channel. He was talking about Blue Point wrenches. This was my great uncle's. This wrench could be, I don't know, 100 years old maybe. Because he passed away in the late 60s, and he gave me these tools in the late 60s. So that's kind of cool. I guess the Blue Point company was part of Snap-on or pre-Snap-on or something like that. Maybe not, who knows. I got my new bearings in today. These are a 1/2 inch by 1 3/8 by, oh hell, I don't know. But it's got the edge thing on it. What do you call that? And I'm going to replace these 5/8 inch ones, and I also got my bushings, so I'm going to put that together. Here are the old bearings. They were frozen up solid. I actually put them in oil for a little while, but they are just frozen and crusty as all hell. So I'm going to clean out the channels in here and get them clean for the new bearings, and I'm going to put a spacer in between the two bearings as well, or a bushing between the two bearings as well. These wheels are a little more beat than I thought. There's a hole right down there fill in with some JB Weld or something. These yeah, they'll work. What the hell? So that bearing's nice and went in easy, and it's nice and flat. I have to figure out the spacer length between that bearing's end and the other bearing on this side, and put this guy in between. Somebody recommended that. It definitely makes sense. That thing is about 3 1/4 inches long. It's going to be a little shorter than that, so I'm going to figure a way to measure that out. I'm going to cut that and come back to you. This is kind of a pain trying to get this thing straight. In a miter box with a hacksaw, it's kind of slow going. I need to take off a little more, so we'll go this route. Alright, good results. Got 3 bushings, 2 new bearings, an axle. Don't look too bad. They're congruent, about the same size. Groovy. Now we got the back wheel to do. And I think I have the spacers all set for this one. I don't think I have to cut any. I just have to put in the new bearings. So I'm going to clean up the wheel and then put in the new bearings. Okay, new bearings went in well. I made the centerpiece out of the bushing. This is what I got on one side. It looks like, to me, this is the adjuster. That's just a washer. That there should be some space for perhaps a sprocket to go in between those. And then if we need to fill up some more space, I got some more bushings. I got this little one that might do the trick. But for now, I think I'll leave it as it is until I figure out what I'm going to do with this sprocket. The back wheel on. My hands are freezing. It was a really cold night last night. It's probably 11 degrees outside now. But spins just fine. This is what I got for space on one side. You can see that. That's way more than enough for a sprocket, so I'll probably have to make another bushing that's tighter once I get the sprocket set up. But when I center this thing, or somewhat center it, that looks about right on that side. Let me see if I can get some light here. That looks about right, that bushing there. So this might be a good setup. I don't know. But once again, that's what I got right there. Okay, enough for now. Gotta go warm up my hands. I don't know if I mentioned, but I got some larger U-bolts. This is what I had first. They're kind of wimpy. I got the bigger ones. This is double nutted, but the ones on top are just there for spacers. But I just made this thing. I'm gonna put right there, and hopefully it might make it so that the bars are a little tighter and to take up some of that slack in the U-bolts. Okay, that's in there, if you can tell. It's kind of dark and black, but does it help? I don't know. It might. I don't know. We'll think about it. Well, it rolls now, so that's actually a good thing. But we'll have to think of what to do next. So I've been thinking these foot pegs aren't really going to hold up, although they don't look too bad and they fit pretty good. So I found this piece of aluminum that I have. I got a couple of pieces this big, about 4 inches long. I'm going to drive them in side here. It fits really tight inside there, and use that to thicken up right here, and we'll bolt it here, so maybe it'll make it a little more substantial. We'll see what happens. Easier to show you after I'm done than to describe it, I think. For me, anyway. Okay, well I did one. It's really easy. Just jam the aluminum piece in, drilled a hole, and it feels much more substantial. As you can see, the aluminum's in there. That's just, since I only have that, I would have gone the whole way except I didn't have enough stock. So I was thinking about drilling right about where my thumb is there. But I might leave it as it is and put it on and see what it feels like. Hopefully it's stronger. Okay, I got them back on. They definitely feel stronger than they were. They fill that gap up much better, and they're stiffer. They might be a little bit long, but you can always cut them down. You can't make them longer, so I guess that's a plus. They're good for now. So I'm thinking what's going to be the drive setup on this Rupp, and I was trying to take off that little sprocket there. I took the roll pin out of it, which is right there. That came up pretty easy, but that thing will not budge. I don't think anything else is holding it, but probably just rust or something. But I'm wondering if I take off that sprocket, will the whole shaft slide out? As you see, the old piece of the torque converter on the other side, I don't know how to take that off, so I guess that's my next question. So this side of the torque converter has what looks like a nut on it, but it had some tabs pushed over on it so that it wouldn't move, so I assume it's a nut. I tried the impact driver going both ways, reverse and forward, and it didn't seem to budge or do anything. I'm also wondering if I take off the torque converter, can I just put a sprocket on there? And you know, I got to think about ratios and etc. If I just use the same sprockets, like maybe a 12, a 12, and a 12 for the clutch and whatever on the rear, will that work? Is that the right way to go? Now the clutch I got, it's missing a bushing in there, but I'm kind of thinking that these things are cheap enough that, you know, you might as well just buy another 5/8 clutch. You know, instead of the bushing's going to be 10 bucks, the clutch is going to be 15 bucks. So, okay. So I'd like to know opinions and ideas on ratios, what I should do, since I'm probably going to chain for now until later on, because I don't think I'm really going to stick with this engine for that long, but I might, I don't know. I'm just trying to go the cheap route if I can.